Good morning, HPC. Welcome to another reflection, another thought on Sinclair Ferguson. Chapter 19, day 19. Christmas is really coming, isn't it? It's getting closer and closer. And we're into a new bit of Matthew. Hope you've read that, Matthew 2:13 to 23. Tying up this little section in Matthew and getting us all the way through to Jesus being called the Nazarene. But this is the last, I think, of his little thoughts on the wise men. I wonder how you got on with it, actually. I hope you've read the passage, by the way. Please do that before. It's hard, I know, particularly when we're familiar with it, but I do think that's where the value is, particularly when we're familiar with the stories. But I do wonder how you got on with his thoughts. I felt he was... there was more speculation than I had imagined in this one. He did seem to be reaching for some of the stuff a little bit. I was really helped by his chronology. It's helpful to think, isn't it, that they've been to Jerusalem, that they have met Simeon and Anna in the temple, that they have come to better understand, as the Spirit spoke through those two godly saints, the role of this child in the salvation of the world and in the salvation of his people, and also the impact that would have on them. A sword would pierce Mary's own soul too, she's told in Luke chapter 2. And then again, a bit more speculation. Had they chatted with wise men about that? Don't know. But helpful, I thought, to see that if they did, then the wise men and Joseph and Mary would now both see that to know Jesus means to know suffering, to take up your cross and follow him. There is a price to pay for being people who have come into relationship with Jesus. Now, price is very obvious in the case of the Magi, the wise men. They travelled a long way. It had cost them in terms of time. They'd lavished their gifts. It had cost them in terms of their reputations. They'd humbled themselves and they worshipped this child who they saw was born to be king. It was costly. And yet also his parents were soon to learn the cost of having Jesus as part of their family. Or should I turn it the other way round, in Matthew's context, of being part of Jesus' family? The child comes first, doesn't he, in Matthew's gospel, of being part of Jesus' family, which meant they had to grab everything and head off to Egypt in fear of their lives. Finished with a quotation from Philip Henry. I've only ever heard it, a version of this, written in the diary of Jim Elliot. Do you know about Jim Elliot? An American missionary in the 60s, I think, went to the Orca Indians in the Amazon basin and was martyred there. And he said something very similar to these words. Let me read them and I'll finish with this. But surely they all left Bethlehem with a sense that he is no fool who parts with what he cannot keep when he is sure to be recompensed with that which he cannot lose. Worth thinking, isn't it? At a time of the year when we get lots of stuff, when we give gifts, to think, well, what is it that we cannot lose? I hope that's a helpful thought, and I hope it encourages you through the day. And look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.